Doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'd like to ask you a few questions just to start off the interview process. Sound good?
Fantastic.
First, I'd like to ask you to give me a few details about yourself, just a brief introduction.
My name is Brandon Polzer. I've lived in Baton Rouge now for 22 years. And I'm about to graduate college, and I'm glad to say I'm ready to start a full-time career.
Sounds good. What skills do you think are most important in a worker?
I would say that the motivation, is particularly intrinsic motivation, would be probably the most important out of all the qualities that you could have. Attentiveness. I think those two sum up what would be the best in a worker.
Okay. Why are you interested in this strength coach position?
Well, as an assistant strength coach, you have to work for a good bit of time, and I understand that, to work your way up to being a full-time, a head coach of any university, and I'm ready to put myself through that.
Okay. All right, I'd like for you to give me an example of when you were confronted with a problem and did not know how to solve it right away. How'd you handle it, and how'd the situation go?
Well, I work with an online system of which gives programs to athletes via an app, and there's actually been more than one time for sure where the app was doing things of which I didn't understand, like basically changing numbers that shouldn't have been changed, and it was as a result of computer programming of which I had nothing to do with at all. And I eventually just had to go to the app developer in order to solve it. And I did that after approximately, I'd say about 12 hours after each time, after not figuring it out.
Okay. So you went to the app developer.
Yes.
Gotcha. Could you give me an example of when you were put in a leadership role and how'd you cope with the change of roles?
Well, at the gym of which I am currently employed at, for the longest time I was the intern, and then it got to the point to where I was the head assistant, and interns would come in and they would actually learn from me, and that's actually what my role is currently. And the way I choose to attack this is in a very organized way. Every time I approach a new intern, it's always through the same couple of steps that I introduce them to the program, I introduce them to our way of doing things, and I introduce them to our system.
Could you give me an example of a time that you were stressed out, not only with a work life, but with external factors, and did it affect your work performance, and how'd you deal with it?
Well, in Baton Rouge in the year of 2016, there was a great flood, of which completely flooded my grandmother's house. And at the time, I was a full-time college student and also working a job at that time. And essentially, I would go from school to work to my grandmother's house to, just take out drywall, things like that. And essentially, I dealt with it by getting more sleep.
By getting more sleep?
Yeah.
Gotcha. More sleep. Could you give me an example of when you were crunched for time and had to manage your time effectively? How did it end up?
Well, recently I was in a position where I was working two jobs, and a lot of the things that I did on a daily basis, a lot of things that I do have to be done on a daily basis, and I used to just do them throughout the day. And I realized that in order to make sure that they actually all get done, I had to do them at a certain time of the day to guarantee that they would all get done.
So you had to manage your time better.
Yes.
Basically.
Be organized with time, yes.
Gotcha. Just a few more questions. What specific skills do you have that makes you unique?
I would say number one would be organizational skills, as particularly when attacking a task. And two would be just the sheer capacity of work of which I am capable of whenever I put my mind to it.
All right. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Do you see yourself with this organization, or is this like a stepping stone to your final career path?
I would say that the answer to that question is unknown at this moment. I could possibly be an assistant strength coach here for quite some time and then have a head position, come along and be promoted to said head position. Or maybe 4 to 5 years down the road, I could get a head offer from another college or university and go there. So it could go both ways.
Cool. So you're not sure yet.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Just one more question. What are your goals for the future not pertaining to work life?
I would say that my goals for, I'd say 10 years out, I could see myself being married, possibly starting a family at that time. I can also see, not really, this is somewhat related to work, but somewhat not, but creating a brand name which promotes a healthier quality of life through movement, and particularly for people who are, ages 40 and up, as where that age where people start getting arthritis, joint problems, things like that. I'd like to help put an end to that.
So just help, not the elderly, but older people just stay healthy longer.
Yes.
All right, well, that's all I have for you. Do you have any questions for me?
I do not.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you.